Hey, Barry, you
Yes,
there?
yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Sam
Well,
Dayologist, as opposed to a nightologist.
well, it's someday.
Oh, someday, someday. Okay, I get it.
Did you see the video I sent yesterday?
I think I did. Let's see if I remember which one it was. Oh, well,
It was pretty late.
oh yeah. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was pretty deep, but yeah, I got the idea that it was using AI and GPT to analyze the transcript, I guess, of the video and then try to find the sections where certain topics are sort of like the brain kind of a thingy.
Yeah,
And
it got the transcript, so it got the time tags. And so, you could actually see essentially what the mind map, quote unquote, was that they automatically create. And then if you wanted to figure out what was actually said, you could actually click on it. It would go to that section of the video. So it
right.
was connected so you could actually see it in context. And for all the reasons for I've been saying along, all these many years about how technology would soon arrive to be able to, analyze and abstract and summarize and connect and replay and all that. Hey, this is about it. Now, what I found out was it's €9 per month or €90 per year. I haven't pulled the bullet on it yet. I just found it yesterday. I'll
Oh,
probably do it, but I'm going to try and see if there's a version of it that runs locally because right now that version is a cloud version, and it's got a limit on how many things you can actually tell it to do. So I got to figure out whether it's worth the nine
but
euros.
does it build the mind map too?
Yeah,
Oh, that's the hard part.
and that it does instantaneously, just about. That's the easy part for fast processors.
Well, all right.
So the way they had the use case was you could say, hey, summarize what are the high level topics, it'll group them and then you could say, well, I want to know more about this one and that one and that one. So you could actually give it a more specific prompt just on any subset of the keywords that you were interested in, or say, okay, so where and when in the video did they talk about these things in conjunction? So that was kind of interesting. And then you can actually then formulate a prompt to say, give me more about these connections. Go, deeper, give me a table, give me a chart, give me an external reference, perhaps, So that's where I think you can actually use it to do more research, do more brainstorming, do more idea generation.
Yeah. Of course, the example they used was a podcast, which is already pretty well planned in advance of what you're going to talk
Yes,
about, and you got people who have thought about it and are articulate. Your typical video isn't like that.
right, right. So I haven't yet tried it on one of ours yet.
Yeah,
So
well,
I want to be able to do that soon.
ours are not very well planned out with people who know what they're talking about in advance and have thought it through and can give a an articulate précis of what their thoughts are.
Also, it would still be useful to see whether that kind of approach would give you any value, any additional insight. Anyway,
Well,
that was something that I've been expecting to find, and I was happy I found it.
yeah, €80 a month is not cheap.
That's the professional version. The personal starter version is €9 a month.
Oh, it's not too bad,
Yeah,
especially if you can do a whole bunch of them in 1 month.
yeah, that would be the trick. Yeah,
So you do a year's worth maybe in the course of a month.
yeah,
It wouldn't be bad.
yeah. I mean, if I wasn't working, then it would definitely be worth it to take that nine euros and just do a few dozen videos
It's Kayla.
right away.
Here's that lovely shot of Kayla. Oops, is she still there? She went away.
I think that's Kayla's
Oh,
wall.
oh, she moved away. Okay, there you go.
That was my
May-
wall.
Maybe a closet door or something. Who knows?
How are you guys doing?
We're doing
Good.
okay.
I was telling Barry I was pretty excited to find a video last night.
I just saw
No,
that this morning, but I didn't click on it.
the summary is this thing will take any YouTube URL that you give it, and it'll look at the text transcript of a video, create a mind map, and show it to you in kind of a visual way, and let you sort of navigate through it and ask questions of it, and then say, connect this idea with that idea and that idea and tell me more. Or you can say, hey, when they were talking about these three ideas, show me that section of the video, replay it back to me. So it was pretty cool. And I was telling Barry, hey, this is what I was recording all these videos for. I knew that such a technology would be available at some point. So last night, I found something that was like 90%, what we've been talking about.
That's awesome.
I have a 1 hour example that you might want to try it on. So yesterday, as you know, I went to a memorial service for a colleague of mine who died back in February. And it turned out that the church, Unitarian Universalist Church, they streamed it, and the 1 hour video is up on YouTube. So basically, the wife and the two daughters and the sister and cousins and all each gave a little speech, and so it's a 1 hour review of this guy's life, and that would be and they were all prepared speeches, even though they were sort of not professional speakers reading their speeches. But that would be a good one to try it out on, because it's
Why don't you try it, Barry? They've
Well,
got a 14-day free trial. It's a 14-day free trial.
14-day free trial. Oh,
yes.
Well, I'll have to look at that then. I thought, since you were interested in it, this would be an example of a video that you might.
I'm more likely to try it on one of our GCC videos or PFTF videos, or I don't know, one of the ones I have from like 12, 14 years ago called PFTF or Serious Conversations, or any of those.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in having that kind of analysis.
Ooh, yeah, do it on one of the GCC videos.
Exactly. Exactly. I want to do it on one where Barry gets mad at me.
Well, there's like 2 or 3 of them where we got.
Yeah, I think there were about 3. There are at least 3.
and a couple where I got heated at 2 other people, not just you, but some of the
Oh,
other.
those would be fun too. Yeah, let's do the one with you and Colin.
Well, that's a
God, no,
video.
don't.
There's no real content in it.
Well, I bet you some AI would figure out some content in it.
Well, they could figure out the things, but the thing is that Colin would never engage with any topics. I bring up a topic and he changes the subject.
What would be interesting is go through that and see if AI agrees with you.
I'm looking at the video as you guys are speaking.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, I'm interested in looking at finding some free version of it, but I kind of doubt it. These guys are asking for money.
There are the transcripts where I engaged with some version of ChatGPT on some relatively substantive topic and had a dialogue that maybe lasted about 10 or 15 minutes worth of, but it's just the transcript. There's no video, of course, but I the kind of questions that you would give somebody in like a philosophy class or a philosophy of science class, where you'd get them to process some kind of deep abstract concept in science or philosophy. What is this? Translation. Oh, English.
I guess this is a new feature I just enabled. So if, let's say, somebody was not as familiar with English, then they're watching and maybe the captions for them would show up in whatever language they select. That's
okay.
So
now the closed captions can be translated. Oh, that's nice. I thought that Zoom is now Zoom Workspace.
Yeah, I saw that today. It wasn't there yesterday, but now it's called Zoom Workspace.
Yeah,
So
well, the latest
updated.
update to Zoom, they changed. Not only did they change that, they changed one other thing. If you're in speaker mode, where only the current speaker shows up, there's now a multiple speaker mode where everybody who's talking at once gets selected instead of just the last person to talk. So you have gallery, single speaker, and multi-speaker mode. Although on Zoom, if 2 or 3 people are talking at once, you really can't. You don't do that on the radio.
You shouldn't be doing that anyway, but I understand it happens.
Well, it happens, and it makes for the audience can't follow.
Participants can't even follow.
No, you're talking over the other guy.
Yeah, that's the bane of my existence. It irks
Oh,
me
hey,
to know.
talking about talking
when.
over you. I'm going to interrupt you, Kayla.
You're interrupting my interruption. Stop interrupting my interruption.
That's right. Hey, I wanted to see how you banged heads and took names at the police department.
Well, a lot of really cool collaborative things are coming up, and it's just overwhelming. It's a blessing in disguise, very overwhelming. So your favorite topic, religion. The Oxnard Police Department has these monthly meetings with the Interfaith Council, and the Interfaith Council is comprised of all of the religious leaders in Ventura County. And they just talk about their congregation and any needs that are happening that the religious leaders may understand and wants to bring up to the police department, and or what they do is they invite some guest speakers over to talk about their resources and how they can help. So 2 times, United Parents, we were the guest speakers. The first time we only spoke for a few minutes because not too many people showed up. But then the second time we had the floor for probably a good 10, 15 minutes. And then we talked about our services and everything. So it was really nice. The Interfaith Council really enjoyed our presentation and asked some really good questions in terms of mental health and family and how our resources can help them. So that was really good. But that was what that was all about with the Oxnard PD. And I really enjoy working with religious leaders. Funny thing is, as much as I am far removed from religion at this point, I do enjoy working with religious leaders. And it's just because they seem very eager to help their congregation. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think when your mind is open, you really want to help the people that come to you. I think that's just an absolutely beautiful thing. So there's that. And today, in fact, I may go to the Samoan church. So yesterday, I just got this random phone call from this woman who happened to be Samoan, and she was asking about my dance group, which is another thing I have to talk to you guys about my dance group, because it's opening up all of these doors. So anyhow, I was so happy that she contacted me. So the Polynesian community is very small, quote unquote small, and I'm discovering that they're so well connected with one another that they're just like a tight knit of people. So that's why everybody's a cousin. Dolores broke down to me, we all know each other also by our faith. We know, oh, this family is of a Mormon family, this family is of a Catholic family, this family is of a Christian family. So it's really interesting how they tie in faith with their culture. So anyhow, so she was talking to me about my dance group. And I said, hey, there is this gentleman who reached out to me from the Samoan church, and I don't have his phone number. And I said, I want to help him because his congregation has been attending services in this building that has just been damaged with all of the flooding and all of the things that have been happening these past couple of years. And so their building can't take it anymore, and they don't know what to do with fundraising. And she goes, oh, I know him. He's my cousin. We're all laughing about how everybody's related. And anyhow, this woman, Dolores, is actually from a nonprofit organization as well, the Mercy House. And everything is so interrelated. I mean, even though I work in children's mental health, she works with the homeless. And because she only works with the adults, she is often seeing a lot of homeless people come by who've lost their children, of course, because of their circumstances and other circumstances related to it. So she was like, can you guys do a presentation? And I'm like, I think we can do that. I mean, for you guys, yeah, absolutely. Because we've wanted to connect with homeless services. And she even said, if you come across a grant, she's all, we will happily partner with you, which is another thing. I mean, these grants that I see, they're very connected to homelessness and also substance abuse. It's huge in California. So we don't qualify for that because we don't directly, our clients are children. So it's usually the parents who have substance abuse issues and stuff. So all of this is going on. And then I contacted the guy at the Samoan church, and he wants to hire me as a consultant to be able to raise money for their building. So today I may go to church. I'm a little afraid because it's been decades since I've gone to church, much less a Samoan church, and they are 100% Samoan, which I really do need to tap into the Polynesian community here because number one, I miss them. I really miss the Polynesian community. They're very prevalent in the LA and Orange counties where I used to live. And number two, I just kind of need to put myself out there as the director of my own dance group, and then also as the director of development for the United Parents. So yeah, that's what's been going on. On top of that, she was also very interested in the Interfaith Council and what that's all about too, which is great because I can now connect the deacon from the Samoan church to the Interfaith Council and see if he can be a part of it too, to help his congregation as well. So lots of good things.
Do you get any sleep?
Do I get sleep? Yeah, see, last night I got 6 hours of sleep. I get anywhere between 6 to 8 hours of sleep. But that is a very good question because often I am awake at 3 in the morning. And then sometimes I stay awake. But I do go to sleep at like 8:30 or 9. Just kind of depends on if I want to do crossword puzzles or not. It's just been my thing. Crossword puzzles and brain work. Because, if I can't get exercise in or any me time, I might as well make my brain happy.
So when you make these presentations to these organizations, what's the call to action? Is the call to action to engage your services or to partner with your organization or to spread the word to their people? What's the call to action?
Overall, the call to action is make them aware of our services and, just make sure everybody knows that we're here. My call to action is to get them to give me money. Mm-hmm. That's my call to action. Mm-hmm. So that's why I get to go to these meetings, is because I get to be the slimy salesman and ask for their funds.
So in the picture, the woman sitting to your left, was she the director of United Parents? Yeah. Was she your boss or what?
That is my boss and executive director. She's such a wonderful person. The good and the bad thing about her is that she wants to help everybody, but she just like kind of, okay, here's your help without thinking it through. So she kind of relies. Huh?
There are plenty worse flaws.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I get it. So we're opening up these resource centers for parents to drop in, and safety is on my mind, but her mind is helping parents and kids and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. You got some rough kids in this county. Mm-hmm. Like my whole thing is creating a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and looking at it from all angles.
So did you meet these opportunities through someone in your dance group? The PD presentation, for example?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that was really interesting because like I really do believe that the cultural arts can be a gateway for healing, and not just an expression, but just to get the community get together. There's a lot of trust when it comes to cultural arts in general, because it's not really something that, you know, has any judgment tied to it, if that's making any sense.
Yeah.
So the interesting part is I'm actually encouraged to apply to the Ventura County Leadership cohort for this coming year. Applications are due on the 17th. And I went to a leadership luncheon, and I sat next to the gentleman who is a part of the CSUCI. So he is the major gifts officer for that, and then he's currently in the cohort, the cohort that's leaving. So anyhow, we were talking about United Parents and what I do and blah blah blah, all this crap, and then somehow we got on the on dance. And he's like, "Oh, you're a dance instructor?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm the director of my dance group. I don't dance anymore, but I choreograph and I put all the pieces together." And so we're just kind of talking, and he goes back to that. He's like, "Yeah, you know, at CSUCI, we really want to beef up our dance department. Let me give you the phone number to the person who's in charge of it." And I was all,
There you go.
actually, yeah. But the funny thing is, I'm just like, whoa, don't give that to me yet. I'm trying to connect Maxwell's dance teacher to CSUCI because I think he can really, really do good with that. And currently he works in hip hop and he has a ton of students and everything. So it's just really interesting because the conversation always comes down to dance. And it's I don't know what to do sometimes when I'm in these positions where I'm somewhere on behalf of United Parents, and somehow, you know, we always talk about our personal lives, and everybody's excited that I'm actually a dance director and they want to connect me with certain things when it comes to dance. But last night when I was talking to the woman from the Mercy House, Dolores Suafoa. Yeah, Suafoa. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Anyways, she actually brought the idea that I was thinking. And she's just like, you know, it'd be awesome to just like utilize cultural arts as a platform for healing. And she was talking about the unspoken substance abuse and general abuse that goes on in the Polynesian community. And she says, you know, our families don't talk about it because we kind of take care of it and handle it within our families. She goes, but I know that our people are considering like using other sources to help this vicious cycle. And, you know, we don't want it to be an ongoing generational trauma. So again, dance related.
I wasn't aware that it was a big problem in that community.
Oh yeah, it's a problem. That and substance abuse, violence, just like everybody
Violence?
else. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you don't see it because you know, Polynesians are a proud people and they take care of one another. That's another thing. We were laughing about how I said I'm in nonprofit and Dolores is in a nonprofit. She's like, all of my cousins are like, they serve the county. They serve either the county or on some type of nonprofit organization. And we were just talking about how culture can definitely be a platform for, you know, if you come from a culture that their whole sense is a sense of community, then they become drawn to positions and jobs that have that same feeling of helping one another. Yep. But that's what she was talking about. She says, you know, our families, they try to help each other, but because there's so many intricacies with family, that sometimes it's great to have that outside intervention. You know, it's good to introduce Western ideals. It's good to introduce other cultural ideals to solve a problem.
So what's the follow-up from these events? Something coming up this week?
Oh yeah, lots of I think I've got a plate full. I have to map my own day now. I'm looking at certain apps that will help me with all of these projects that I've got going on. People are going into our website now, they're asking questions, and our insurance guy is just like, I have no idea what you guys do. And so now I have to figure out how to simplify it. And then I'm probably going to blast out some type of survey to ask people, so do you know what United Parents does? And see how we could better improve that. So we could better improve our marketing. I have to come up with a marketing plan with the Samoan Church. The deacon wants me to start their website because they don't have a website. And I was like, oh yeah, you definitely have to get yourself out there if you want people to donate to you. We have to leverage the culture to kind of, so right now culture is really popular. And in Ventura County, there's not too many awareness of the Polynesians here. So I think we could leverage that in the surrounding area. I think people get excited to help a Polynesian community build something up. So there's that. And then my own dance group, I have to prepare for shows, and then just make them aware of the show that we now have with the Mercy House. And then, yeah, there's lots of follow-up. It's all kind of planning step by step, making every day count.
Time to find yourself an executive assistant.
Huh?
Time to find yourself an executive assistant. Seems like.
Time to get a raise, man.
Yeah, that too.
And those bonuses need to start coming back into my life. And then on top of that, Maxwell got a callback for Walmart. So I hope that he gets this.
For a commercial?
Mm-hmm. We love
Print
those union
or
commercials.
live?
Huh?
Print ad or a live 30-second?
Both. They're usually 2-second
Okay.
Television.
Good. So are you on your walk right now or are you at home?
No, I'm at home. I made myself some ramen. Cracked an egg, put it in there. Also some sesame oil.
Have you ever put Taiwanese sausage in there? Do you know what Taiwanese sausage is?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Nope. Of course I do.
Okay, good. You're one of the few people I've talked to who actually knows what it is. Anyway, I like slicing it up thin, and throwing it in there, or you can even grill it a little bit before you throw it in there. Really good.
Oh, Sam Barry said, ask me about Adele Goldberg.
Yeah, I was getting around to that, but I didn't want to just,
Sorry.
abandon this train
Do
of
it.
conversation.
I've got my
Barry,
I've got my
tell me
ramen.
about
Go
Small
ahead,
Talk
Barry.
80 and Alan Kay.
Well, yesterday I went to this memorial service for my friend David Levine, who had attended Stanford as an undergrad and a grad about the same time I was there, but I didn't know him at the time. He was in physics and I was in double E. But he was there at the time when computers were just coming of age, and so he was very into computers. It turned out at the service that besides the people who were there in person, there were some pre-recorded remembrances of people who had known David for their whole life. And one of them turned out to be Adele Goldberg. And so there's this video clip of her, remembering him. And when it came up, I didn't recognize the face because she's aged, right? But then at the bottom is her name is superimposed at the bottom. I go, Adele Goldberg. I know that name. And then I asked his widow, I said, was that the Adele Goldberg of Small? She said, oh, yeah, they knew each other. So there's this little clip of Adele Goldberg reminiscing about our dear departed David Levine. And I just, in case you haven't seen or heard of her in a long time, here's this short clip of her reminiscing about the early days.
No, she's definitely made a name. She's quite associated with Small Talk 80, so quite famous from that language and that technology.
But I hadn't seen her live or on video since, since the 1980s, 1990s, since
Hmm.
kind of lost track of anything that she was doing after Small Talk 80 had its heyday.
Hmm.
I went back and played back the video. The video's up on YouTube. Went back and played it. Now that I look at the video up close instead of at a distance, I can say, yeah, even though she's aged, I could tell that was her. I could see the resemblance finally.
Hmm.
But I was surprised. I mean, I had met David in our post-retirement years, and it never occurred to me that he knew famous people back in the early days of computers.
People have many connections.
Yeah.
What?
So
Isn't there a Dunbar number?
yeah, is it
Is it
160, 140, I think.
150?
Yeah, it's the most
150-ish?
number of people that you can keep track of in your life and remember their name and their identity and what they look like, and be able to find them. After
Mhm.
that, they're just people, that you know about, but never met them or had any connection.
Mhm.
And I don't know that I ever talked to Adele Goldberg, although I was certainly present when she was one of the speakers in real life.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did, but I did meet and interacted a little bit with Alan Kay, who worked very closely with her.
Yeah, I met him too. I think I met him at maybe an internet conference or something, and I knew who he was. I was aware of of how famous he was, and actually got to meet him at a conference once, just briefly.
Mhm. I think his famous quote regarding Doug was, Silicon Valley still isn't done implementing a bunch of Doug's ideas, which he demoed in 1968.
Yeah, I also met Vince Cerf at that same conference, and the interesting thing was Vince Cerf knew who I was.
Ah, that's awesome.
That was, yeah,
That's an
he knew that I
acknowledgement.
was one of the pioneers of children's educational internet education stuff. And when he saw my badge, he went up and gave me a big hug to congratulate me for the role. I was astonished that he knew who I was.
Yeah, that's cool. Maybe you could get Google to resurrect it.
To resurrect what?
MuseNet or
Oh,
some version of
MuseNet.
it. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, it's still running. And MuseNet is still exists. It's just that nobody connects to it anymore because it's a ghost town.
Oh, maybe what I mean is invest in it, reinvigorate it,
Oh,
something.
I don't think that's going to happen because, first of all, it's all text and it has a fairly, by modern standards, arcane coding language. So, um, when online forums came of age, even though in online forums it's only conversation, you can't build a buildable world. Um, the difficulty of building stuff in Micromuse was sufficiently challenging that I don't really see that coming back. People would rather go into Legoland or what's the other one where you build stuff, the famous one.
Oh yeah. Kids are all over it. I forget the name.
Yeah,
Something World.
yeah. So the stuff where you can build stuff with a visual representation has supplanted where you can build stuff only in a text mode or
Yeah.
ASCII mode.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Eric go into it, and he built a couple of little things, but just to show that it's still viable, but
Mhm.
it's 30 years past its prime when it was the state of the art. It's way past state of the art. It did promote, good writing, and people would learn to write correct spelling and sentence structure and punctuation, and but even on Facebook, if you write poorly, people won't read your stuff. So
Depends on which people. There's a whole sub language now developing for online chat.
yeah,
emojis are making it into Unicode.
Yeah, and there's got to be hundreds of emojis now.
Yep. Actually, I wanted to circle back to something Kayla had said. Kayla, you were talking about cultural influences being healing. I wanted to at least note for the record and celebrate a little bit, maybe share with you and think about possibilities. Because last Sunday, a friend of mine, Linda and Yance, and I sponsored / co-produced a concert here on the island with the group down south, about 2 hours south here. It's a professional string quartet called the Auburn String Quartet. So we brought them to the island because chamber music really hasn't been on Camino Island ever since I've been here. The chamber music I'm familiar with is when Linda and I get together and play duets. So we actually got a forum, we got tickets sold, we did some marketing, we printed postcards, we did some online advertising, and we got around 70 people into this hall, which probably seats about 100 comfortably. So it's the beginning. Hopefully it's just step one of bringing music as part of culture into Camino Island. Interestingly, Camino Island has a lot of sculptors, painters, kind of arts and crafts people, but not a lot of musicians, in the classical style. There's a bunch of, performance groups, but none in chamber / classical. So I want to be able to do that. And I also remember, Kayla, when you were here visiting before, we didn't get a chance to do the violin plus Tahitian dance combo that we talked about years ago. Remember that? Because I think you hurt yourself. You hurt your knee or something.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. As I recall, your knee was taking quite a while to recover.
Yeah,
Is it fine now?
no.
Really? Still not?
It was just, it all came at once. I mean, my knee, menopause, getting a little bit more arthritic. I mean, you have to realize I've been a dancer all my life.
So
And I
that's
went
hard on your
hard.
body, right?
Yeah, I went hard for decades. And then I partied hard for decades. And I'm not talking about like heavy drugs or anything like that, but like eating whatever I wanted to and just doing whatever I wanted.
That's because you burned the calories away.
Yeah, exactly. I was burning thousands of calories, I was even in martial arts capoeira. And that's it's good for your body, but it's also hard for your body too. It just kind of depends on your state. So with menopause and everything going on, it just felt like all of my physical ailments came just like that, all at once. So what I'm trying to do is get back to it, and just slowly get through some exercise and mobility, get through some of my mobility issues, because I might want to take a trip to Belize and go inside the caves and stuff.
Wow.
I mean, I'm still pretty young. There's no reason why my body, can't recover. I just need to find the time to do all of this stuff.
Certainly. Funny name for it. Seems like what Barry and I go through should be called menopause. What you go through ought to be called womenopause.
Yeah.
Call it senility.
Womenopause.
Post-retirement senility.
You're not senile yet, Barry.
Yeah, but I can tell that things are declining, cognitive decline. It's pretty evident.
Now, when you yell at me, I can still parse your sentences.
Yeah, I'm not slurring my speech yet.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty excited. This coming week, I'm going to experiment with some of that technology that was in that video I shared yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try it on one or two of these old GCC videos and see we'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah, well,
It
pick
might
a couple
be.
of good ones that have some substance in it, because otherwise they
You're
can.
welcome to pick one. I'll pick one. You pick one. Let me see if I can do two of them.
I don't know if I even have any that are memorable, or if I could find them, if I could even remember one that was memorable. Could I even
You know what
find
I could do? I have the watch statistics on all the YouTube videos. And
Oh,
some of our videos, believe it or not, get 50 or 40 or 70 views. So
really?
I could, yeah, so I
Oh,
could take a look
wow.
at which ones are popular and try and see why people are watching them. Yeah. I mean, most of them are in like, 8 to 20, range, but some of them get more.
Ooh, which
I
ones
remember
get more?
one where Kayla and the two Tiras were both on it, and there was some content, but that
The
was
two
like
who?
there's a Tira and a Tyra, but the two
Oh, really?
Tiras. There's Tira Scott Christensen and Tira Bluestone. Is that her last name?
I don't think I was on that one then.
This is before COVID.
Or that or my senility has caught up to me.
Or you know what? It could have been one of Doug's videos because I don't sort of didn't keep track of who was hosting them back in the day.
Well, Doug hasn't posted many of the ones that he moderated.
Yeah, but I didn't
So
mean that I went back and looked at them. Although this one I think I did because somebody had said something that was kind of profound that I wanted to go back and review, but I don't remember what it was or what year. I mean, it would have been before COVID.
hard to believe. COVID started what, 4 years ago now?
Well, 2020.
Yeah.
COVID-19 basically hit us at the end of 2019 and all of 2020.
Yep.
But one of the Tiras said something very profound, as I recall. But back at the time, now I don't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, I haven't seen Tyra be very active on Facebook, except that she's been seemingly spending a lot of time with Vernon and seems to be happy. Have you contacted her recently, Kayla?
Yeah, we keep in touch. She said that she was banned from Facebook for some strange reason, so she just kind of let it go. And then I see now that she's back on. And then she said that she's been a hermit lately. You know, I
There
know
was
that,
there was a shot of her all dolled up for some event in Los Angeles quite just a week or two ago.
yeah, Vernon is a director. Um, he's a director mainly for Netflix projects, which is really nice. And he's also an actor, so he gets some of these really cool invites, or he gets tipped off to some cool stuff that's happening in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
And so she gets all dolled up for that because, director's wife. But
And,
she's doing really well.
yeah, and the other one, Tyra Bluestone, has posted a few videos of her in New York City doing some of her activities, singing and working with children, stuff like that. And she has a twin sister that they always post on their Earth Day together.
I'm wondering whether to dig up my list of questions.
You should.
In case there are lulls in conversations like this one.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to come with your set of philosophical prompts.
Let me see if I can find a place to put this and find my question list. Where's my question list? I sometimes also revisit the posts that I make in the intervening week since the last session. Sometimes they're worth talking about. So let me see if I can find my list.
Things have been winding down on Facebook. There's less and less traffic and less interesting traffic. It's getting, I won't say it's a ghost town, but it's definitely dwindling.
Really? That's not been my experience.
Oh,
Thank God. We all
Do you
just need
think,
to get off of social media.
I want to get more into music.
There you go.
you got to go to,
Healing
Oh.
through arts.
you got to
I've
go to
actually been
YouTube.
practicing my violin a little bit this past couple of weeks.
You could post some concertos on YouTube like Eric does.
I have to get a lot more, let's say, back in practice. I'm very rusty.
I mean, Eric's little band, his little spiritual band is not terribly practiced. I mean, they're kind of amateurish, but he still posts them. He posted
Yeah, I
Saint.
didn't know he was that active in music, with his is it a Shabbat or a Shabbat? What's the word for that?
I forget the name of their group, but they were doing Jewish music. He did Saint It, and I don't remember what the other piece was that they recorded from that.
And he played clarinet, right? That was him.
Plays the clarinet, and then he's got
Yeah.
some band members who play other instruments. And as I recall, it's all basically Jewish music, Jewish cultural stuff.
Okay. Okay, so the last time I recall asking you, Barry, why do we have 5 fingers? And I don't think we finished that round of questioning.
Well, I gave you the only answers that came to mind.
Oh, here's another question. The Palestinians have mothers.
What kind of question is that?
Yeah, what kind of question? Excuse me.
A member of the House of Lords asked Chaim Weizmann, why do you Jews insist on Palestine when there are so many undeveloped countries you would settle in more conveniently? Weizmann said, that is like my asking you why you drove 20 miles to visit your mother last Sunday when there are so many old ladies living on your street. And then I asked myself, do Palestinians have mothers?
They did at one time. If they don't still, I mean, we all have mothers, some of whom may still be alive. Yours is still
But do you
alive.
understand my point though, Barry?
No.
Weizmann was saying, their land is like their mother, right? They've only got one mother.
Yeah. Well, it's the homeland,
Right. But
I mean, in Germany was the fatherland. So somehow or other, they don't think of Israel as the fatherland, but maybe it's the motherland. The land of milk and honey. I mean, the land of milk and honey is feminine, not masculine, right?
Kayla, do you get my question?
No.
No. In other words,
Mother Earth.
if I can possibly, not mangle this politically incorrectly, if Jews insist on a homeland and Palestinians insist on a homeland, they both insist on a homeland. I, as a third party, don't know which is more honorable, which is more correct, which is more historically, justified. I don't know any of that.
Well, first of all, the Palestinians take their name from the biblical ethnic group Philistines, but they're not Philistines. They're completely
Yeah,
different.
but that was imposed by a third party, right?
Well, it was England. It was England who came up with the name Palestine.
Yeah, Palestinians didn't come up with that name themselves.
Well,
it
they
means
called
something in a sense derogatory, right? It's a derogatory name.
Yeah, I don't know how the naming in the Middle East is kind of strange because a lot of the names are ancient.
See, Barry, this is why I sent you a post, which initially you said you couldn't read, and then I sent you the actual version of it that you could read. Did you take a look at that?
I did, and I was turned off by it and didn't read past about the first paragraph or two.
Aha. See, because this guy seems to have a lot of history, which you disagree with. That's why I thought it would be interesting to hear your version of it.
Well, first of all, I'm not into history, and second of all, history is really
Yes,
cool.
you are. I mean, you do bring up the historical foundations of analytical theology. So you do
Well,
bring
yeah,
up
in my own
historical
discipline, I
context,
want to
right?
know who are the pioneers of my discipline. So I want to know who was Leonard Euler, and who was Isaac Newton, and who was Einstein, and who are the, who was Archimedes. I want to know the founders of my discipline. Um,
Would it piss you off if I read some of this?
well, I might just tune out.
See, that's unfortunate because I really think I would get some value at least, if you participated in delving into it. But it's okay. I'll drop it.
Well, you had made a promise to drop the pissing on religion stuff because
No, I didn't promise to do that. I promised on certain days to drop it, but not
on
forever.
certain days. I have some uncertainty about what day to day is then. Like yesterday, I go to the Unitarian Universalist Church, for this memorial service of David Levine, who's, also a Jewish background. And the thing as I appreciated was the pastor there. When you're doing memorial service, some of the relatives break down when they're trying to read their thing, and the one of the two daughters was having a very hard time, keeping, being able to stay coherent. And, the lady pastor got up and put her arm around her and, comforted her. And I thought the level of empathy in these occasions is really profound. And it wasn't not a religious service. It was a memorial service, remembrance. But the level of empathy, in that room was just astonishing. People dealing with the grief of the loss of someone that's played an important role in their lives, especially the two daughters.
I think if we can't engage, you and I, Barry, on difficult topics, then this saying by David Hume can't apply. And the saying I'm referring to is the truth springs from arguments amongst friends.
Sometimes, but often not. First of all, amongst friends are people who can have a civil conversation, but antagonists are not friends, they're antagonists. And arguments among antagonists are much more common than arguments among, I mean, my grandfather and my uncle used to love to sit and argue. And I would, as a child, found that completely tedious because they weren't doing any deep thinking. They were just taking a position and defending it. One would take a position and articulate, the other would take the opposite position, articulate, and they never got to common ground. And what annoys me about arguments is that there's no attempt to get to common ground. If you look at American legal systems versus British, in British, the lawyers are obligated to get to the ground truth. In American system, they're not obligated to get to the ground truth. They're trying to dispel the other guy's position. And I never liked debates. American style debates was never getting to the ground truth. And what is an argument but, just a crude debate?
It's designed as an adversarial system.
Exactly. And I never liked adversarial systems because they never got to common ground.
Now, would you say the Spanish Inquisition was more truth-based?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, if you think about the word Inquisition, that's trying to get to the truth, right?
Yeah, but
it's taken on a very different meaning.
It was misnamed.
Yeah.
And in fact, I adopted the term Spanish Inquisition to characterize what was going on Wikipedia, and I called it the Spanish Inquisition. And
okay, so I'm reading into that that some of the conversations with me you would characterize as me being antagonistic.
Or spamish inquisition. You just, spamming the network with competing perspectives without any attempt to finding the ground truth or common ground.
Okay, on that one, I'll disagree with you. And I would be curious to see if that might be one of the videos or some of the segments that I'd like to run through some of this mind mapping and GPT analysis.
But taking a position and defending it just seems like an exercise. And now, if you do it as satire, which they do on Saturday Night Live, they'll have two people take position and defend, and it's hilarious because it's a send up of the futility of that mode of communication. Whereas the David Bohmian dialogue model is you're trying to get to common ground and insight. But Bohmian dialogue is not entertaining. Whereas remember that famous Monty Python sketch, the argument clinic?
Yeah,
there was a famous sketch where they go in to these rooms and there's an abuse room and an argument room, and you can have an argument and they basically just contradict each other all the time. Or they call each other names, and it's a send up of the futility of that mode of exchange. But it's hilarious because it just shows you how futile it is. Remember
it's interesting you say that, Barry, because to me, that stuff is not funny. It's not hilarious to me. It's sad, really.
It was only funny because it ridiculed how pointless the argument culture was, or the insult culture, or whatever.
Yeah, talking about insult culture. Remember, who was the guy that Don Rickles? Remember Don Rickles?
And then there was the insult.
I never thought he was funny. Did you think he was funny?
No, I understood his style of humor, but it didn't register with me. I appreciated it as an attempt to find a genre of humor. There was the insult dog. Remember the famous insult dog after Rickles died? They had this dog with a great big cigar, and all it did was hurl insults at you. It was on one of the late night, Letterman or one of those guys.
Kayla, are you old enough to remember Don Rickles?
Yes, and Kayla?
Maybe not.
No.
Maybe not. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't. Sorry.
Yeah, way before your time then. Yeah.
But who's not my favorite comic? Comedy is a tricky thing. Because it tends to go for a niche audience.
Okay, so let me try something from you. I'm trying to recall something from memory. Okay, there was a movie which I saw probably 20 years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, and it had two very famous young actors at the time. Oh, sorry, actor and actress at the time. It's about this young high school kid who was evidently very popular, very successful, had fast cars, sports cars. He was driving around one night drunk, and he plowed his car into a diner, and the diner burned up. And rather than getting super upset at the high school kid, the owner said, "How are you going to make this up to me? You need to rebuild this diner for me." Something like that. And I thought it was a remarkably mature way to handle someone who is a little bit out of control, get them to take accountability, take responsibility. I don't remember any of the names of this, such a long time ago. The young actress in it, I think she was quite famous, but I forget what her name was. But anyway, it was a good way to treat something to happen, as opposed to taking a more predictable, let's go to court, or let's, have it out here kind of thing. And I thought it was a remarkable movie from the perspective that, hey, here's someone who's trying to teach young people how to be more accountable, how to contribute to society rather than, living an irresponsible life, destroying property. And quite frankly, I don't see too many movies that strike me the same way. So I'd like to go and find the name of that movie. Oh, Lily. The woman's name was Lily Sobieski. Does that ring a bell for any of you?
No, but clearly the theme is restorative justice as opposed
Yeah,
to retributive
yeah,
justice.
right.
And you very in New Zealand, restorative justice is sort of the primary concept. In America, retributive justice is dominant, and that's one of the things
Yeah,
that really dispirits me about America. Is we're
yeah.
so big on retributive justice, and we don't have much of a concept of restorative justice as an alternative. And by the way, it's theology that promotes restorative justice as opposed to retributive justice. That's if you go back to the origin of it, it's theology, and and really the New Testament more than the Old Testament
Yeah.
is converting from retributive to restorative justice as a superior concept.
By the way, tying that notion back to what Kayla was saying earlier, I just want to go on record and say I am not completely anti-religion. Okay. I specifically said my beef with religion is when they try to impose it on people. But if it actually helps people become better people, that's where it actually has some redeeming quality. And I've always been very clear about that.
Well, that's also my beef with the rule of law. That they not only try to post it, they make it a criminal act to not obey the rule of law, even though often the rule of law is very political and unethical.
And outdated
Well, that's
and impractical.
you're right.
Right.
The whole thing is replacing the rule of law with the system of ethics, which has never succeeded in our species, even though it's been a goal for 3,500 years to supplant the rule of law with an ethical system.
Are we smart enough to do that? That's a good question.
No, that's evidently not. 5% of the population are, and they're the leaders of ethical business practices, the Warren Buffetts and people like that. But most people, the Elon Musks and the Jeff Bezos, they're not. And the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, she tried to promote ethical practices, and eventually Warren Buffett turned Bill Gates around late in life.
Did he get turned around?
Well, he opened the door to thinking more about ethics, but it was really Melinda who was the real. Between Melinda and Warren Buffett, I think they kind of the scales fell from Bill Gates's eyes late in life, and then they created the foundation. They created a foundation, to try to solve world-class problems.
Like malaria.
Like malaria, for example, and some other ones. So, and
okay.
I attribute that to Melinda and Warren Buffett, but the origin of those ideas are theological.
I mean, to be candid, I was really disgusted way back in, I don't remember whether it was the 90s or 2000s or whatever, when PC manufacturers like Dell or others could not ship a PC or a laptop without paying Microsoft a Windows license, even if they did not install Windows on it.
Yeah.
Do you recall that?
All right. Well, there was the lawsuit. There was the antitrust lawsuit against, and now they're having an antitrust lawsuit against Google, which is doing some kind of the same thing with the browsers.
Again, do no evil. They've taken that off of their list.
They dropped the "Don't be
evil"
motto. I don't know when they dropped it. Not so
years ago.
5 or 10 years ago.
That's one thing. And then another one, as as a co-founder of a startup a long time ago, even talking to Microsoft was dangerous because everyone in the industry knew if you talk to Microsoft and it's a good idea, they're going to steal it.
Yeah. Well,
they got more lawyers than you.
I mean, he stole DOS from, I forget who he stole it from. He stole DOS from somebody else.
Seattle Computer. SC DOS was what, not really stole. He bought it for a very small amount of money and then turned around.
And DOS was basically another version of Unix.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Not at all.
I mean, the dialect of DOS and the dialect of Unix are sibling, well, cousins, I guess you'd have to say.
I don't see any similarity in those two.
You don't know, I certainly did. I already knew Unix when I learned DOS. I go, this is just they sort of change, they changed the names of the, so instead of
Oh, right.
instead
Like,
of
like
RM,
three or four, there were like 3 or 4 commands that kind of resembled it, but underneath it was nothing like it.
pipelining was there.
DOS had pipelining? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, they did.
I don't. I'm gonna have to go verify that one because I think Microsoft didn't have that until PowerShell. But
Well,
we'll see.
so, but like
Certainly,
Boeing was ethical at the beginning, and then the founder of Boeing, was out of the picture, and then instead of having engineers at the top of the hierarchy, they started putting in finance guys at the top of the hierarchy, and suddenly making money, monetizing became more important than engineering quality.
and then they got sold to McDonnell Douglas, and that's when the company started really going down.
Yeah.
Not wait. The McDonnell Douglas bought McDonnell. Yeah, they bought McDonnell Douglas, but all the management from McDonnell Douglas started infiltrating the company.
Yeah,
that thinking started.
So this conflict between ethics and monetization, or greed, or whatever. Greed is good. That famous send up. And this is a battle that humans have been playing since the dawn of modern civilization.
Okay, so again, personal story here. This morning, right? I hear yet another story this morning. I get another ad, some news article. It's on Google News. AI, takes $1,000 and makes $50,000 in 30 days, right? And I thought, geez, if I really wanted to, I subscribe to all of this, and I'd make money in arbitrage, and I knew how to do that 20 or 30 years ago. But it didn't feel like it was really contributing to society.
It isn't.
So why would I want to do that? And it's not like I'm starving, right? So why do I need to do that? Why don't I just devote myself to something that contributes to society as opposed to just ripping people off or creating artificial wealth, for doing nothing? Now, I am the stupid one here because obviously if I had done more of this, maybe I'd be retired by now. But it just didn't seem like the kind of thing that I felt really good, saying, yeah, I did this. I played the game. I made $30,000 this month, just sitting on my butt, looking at numbers. But, some people consider that smart. And I can't argue. But I just couldn't bring myself to do that.
Hello, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hello, Barry. Hello, Sam. Hello, Sam. Hello, Kayla. So what is coming, the ads and the money-making thing? What's going on? What's the summary?
Did you, is AI summarization working for you? Did you try doing a catch me up?
Working on this?
I try turning these things on, but I don't know how useful they are.
No, it's not getting me anywhere. Anyway,
I always turn on AI Chat Companion, and I always turn on summarization. What is it that I'm not doing so that you can actually get caught up?
ask missing question. Send request. Oh, I have to send you a request. You have to approve me before I can do anything. I see.
No, I actually say anybody can do this.
Well, it's asking me to.
So you have to ask for the summary. You have to go to the AI companion and ask.
I click on summary. Nothing happened.
Transcript. I don't know. It's different. It's a new version of Zoom, so I don't quite understand what's happening now.
I'm going to capture the screen I see here so that you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just approved something, but I remember right at the start of this session, I started something just so that we could have this, but evidently I'm missing some setting.
I'm clicking on summary, and this is what I get. And then when I click on ask meeting question, okay, now I can ask meeting question now. You have to approve me first. Okay, so at least that's okay. So I have to click on.
What do I need to do? What do I need to do at the beginning of the session, way before you start, so that we don't have to do this in the middle of the session?
I have no idea. Need some time to figure it out.
I mean, I specifically went to enable a bunch of stuff, you know, and then you still have to ask. Not good.
See, now the answer, the kind of catch me up. The catch me up is to say that the meeting so far has been about troubleshooting a new version of Zoom. Sam Chen has asking difficulties.
Oh, so it doesn't go anywhere back to the beginning of the real session. What a
No.
waste.
You need to turn on the AI companion automatically.
I did.
Okay, he sent me your print screen of the setting. I had to troubleshoot it. Something is not up. Oh, you know what? Maybe because of. How about you, Barry? Ask the summary, catch me up, and see what you get. Maybe get all the way up.
I haven't found that thing yet first.
Okay, so
Way
you
at the bottom.
click on
AI
companion button on the bottom right,
Yes.
and then click on the button that say underneath the button that says summary. Say ask meeting question. You have to click on that.
Oh, there it is, and then say, then catch me up. Okay, there's catch me up.
Yeah, it's a two-step process, not one-step process.
Yeah, I see. I have it now. All right, so I got catch me up going.
Okay, see what you got.
I can. So I'm just
What
getting
does it tell you?
I will post the paragraph into the chat since it's just a paragraph. Copy and paste into chat. So there it is. The meeting so far has been about troubleshooting a new version of Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
That's
I'm
it.
not
That's
seeing
all.
it.
That's all. That's all there is.
It missed because I know okay, I gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it didn't get turned on. The AI companion was not turned on at all because I got my turn on. Even yesterday, we speak a lot of Cantonese. Still AI companion still going. You sent me a report. I didn't have to do anything. So it's something in the setting that you have to auto start or something. You want me to say?
Okay.
I want to put in a question. What did Kayla talk about?
Yes.
Let's see if it
Because
can.
yeah, Kayla took most of the first 30 minutes, I think, right?
All right. So I asked, what did Kayla talk about? The meeting transcript does not provide information on what Kayla talked about.
Yeah, that's what I say. It is not turned on. I promise you, it did not turn on.
It completely ignored you, Kayla. Your whole story is just lost into the ether.
Oh my God.
No,
Unfortunately,
it's on
I'm used to
video.
it.
It's on video.
Yeah, it's on the video, but unfortunately, the transcript doesn't have the transcript for some crazy reason. I don't know why.
Also, the closed caption. That's what I think. I didn't get any closed caption before I joined.
The only thing that's new that we saw was that the closed captions can now be translated to your preferred language. So if
you have closed caption all the way, start from beginning.
So you could ask the closed captions to translate into some, what is it, Chinese? Is that your native language?
Yes.
You could ask it to translate into Chinese and see if that works.
Good luck, my friend. I already have trouble in English already. Remember, I now dream in English. I don't dream in Chinese anymore. I switch over.
We can ask our German friend to speak in German and have it translated for us into English.
Yeah.
Heiner. Tell Heiner to talk in German and we'll let it translate for us.
Since you're here now, Sam, let me ask you. I posted a video which you thumbed up last night. It was a video of someone with a technology to take a YouTube video, create a mind map, and you can actually ask it, questions of who said what ideas are connected.
It's not a mind map.
It's a knowledge graph. It's a
knowledge graph. I
That's what they
agree,
call it.
but not a mind map.
Yeah. Some people use those words interchangeably, but yes,
no, you cannot. Mind map is mind map. Knowledge graph is knowledge graph. It's two different, very different.
Well, if you really want to argue that, I don't even think that's a knowledge graph. That's just a word, network.
I mean, whatever. It's not It's not a mind map. Whatever that was called, I'm okay with it. Let me put it this way.
Semantic network. It's like Jerry Mikulski's brain is basically a semantic network.
Yeah.
I think what it does is that it will take each keyword and put a spot for it.
Right.
and the stakeholder. And then what it does is
Yes.
it's try to relate one keyword to the other keywords in the graphical format. So it's a
Yes.
lot of, I wouldn't call it random, but systematically take each keyword and give it a space, give it a check, give it a spot, and then see how it's related. And then I think I didn't watch all the whole video, but I think that if the keywords mentioned multiple times, the keyword spot become bigger or
Yeah.
something along that line.
And what it connects to. So if you mention two keywords in the same paragraph, it'll connect them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Anyway, I've been playing with a lot of different new AI tools, Perplexity, Claude, and I've some project I could really use it, and so far been, I call it 80% point. I mean, I can get to 80%, but that's about it. I need to use my own brain to get from 80 to 90, and then I'm done. I can only get to 90% point with my own knowledge, but that's about it. But there's a lot of progress in Perplexity and Claude, so I'm amazed with what the progress has made.
What's the second one? Perplexity, and what's the second one?
Claude is a
Claude.
Oh,
CLAUDE.
Claude. Okay.
Yeah.
Claude.
Yeah, I haven't go too much about Claude, but the Perplexity I spent about an hour yesterday with the project I need to work on. Basically, it's comparing 6 different e-learning platform and the good and the bad and the reviews and all that stuff. And I squeeze every ounce of the knowledge out of the software. Basically,
A model. So go ahead.
yeah, so essentially, our organization is trying to build some e-learning platform to figure out the sales tax, the review, the share revenue, you name it, is looking at different perspectives and picking the right tool for fitting what we need is really important. So that's what it is.
What's your accountant GPT?
Well, basically, you can either pick up a phone and call. I mean, basically, the way I look at it, when you evaluate product, there are 4 layers. The market, the idea conception from the founder, and then the marketing put together something that glorify the ideas, and then the engineer implement it, and then the customer use it and say it sucks. Just like my little thing here. Remember this little thing?
Oh, is that the human button?
Yeah, piece of crap.
Oh, really? I
What's it
haven't
do?
gotten one.
What does it do?
AI pin.
Oh, that's the thing that you. Okay,
Yeah,
the
that's
button.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, AI pin. Yep. I have the device here.
Hmm.
Anyway, piece of crap. I spent the last 2-3 days, no progress. No progress. Piece of crap.
Hey, they do a good job advertising it.
Yeah, $800. I mean, for me, it's R&D. It's like write it off, whatever. It's like something I keep always. I like to keep the first generation of everything, like the Google Glass. Cost me a lot of money. HoloLens cost me a lot of money, $3,500 on HoloLens. But I'm not buying the Apple one.
It's 3,500.
and there's not going to be an Apple car. They decided not to make an Apple car.
Yeah, Apple Vision Pro is $3,500. Like I look at it, it's no different than the Microsoft HoloLens 6 years ago. And it has a very specific application, and I don't have the application to use it. So, for example, I'm trying to troubleshoot my water heater. For example, I don't know what I'm doing. I have another expert look at the other side and look at as if he's here instead of he drive to my home or my
Right.
office.
Exactly.
You can see
Right.
that, and that HoloLens, the Vision Pro, perfect. You put that little screw on and slide this part up or whatever. So you bring an expert with you, that kind of scenario. So I have customers in the gas industry that have heavy equipment in the deck in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. You have to take a helicopter to get there, kind of places. Yeah, those are great.
Yep.
So expert
Yeah.
with you. Let the expert be with you. HoloLens, yeah. But I think, from my perspective, you can do that with the iPhone FaceTime too. but the VR, that helps when there's like, you cut the wires of the bomb or something like that.
Yep.
You really want to the more vision you have, the better it is. So that's what it is. So that device is for that. And I can't even handle wearing it for more than half an hour. So like, forget about using it all day long. It's like, how do you use a phone? You're supposed to replace the phone with it, right? So like, when you have the Vision Pro, you drop your phone, and that's you use that all day long. Like, good luck, my friend. You get dizzy, even with the smart glasses already, with the big thing, with the battery pack in the back. Now,
Hmm.
but you can go check it out. It's like, next time you're here, go to the Apple Visitor Center, go check it out, and they let you sit down on the couch, and someone will sit down right next to you, and then let you play with it.
Good idea. Do they have it at the Genius Bar?
Yeah, they have it everywhere.
Okay.
They have it everywhere. I think you might need to make an appointment for it, but for last time I saw it, like, it's pretty empty if you go on the right day.
Hmm.
Do you have an Apple store there, Barry, near you?
The Burlington Mall has an Apple store, and that's about 20-minute drive from here, 15,
Yeah,
20
you might
minutes.
want to play with that Vision Pros. It's kind of neat. Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend buying one.
Yeah, I usually don't buy when things first come out. They're very expensive, and
Yeah.
pretty soon the price comes down, and they get the bugs out of them too.
Yep. Yeah, 1.0 itis. That's why I decided not to buy a Cybertruck.
Good idea.
That's a good reason.
Full of last comment I got was a lot of fingerprint on it. Fingerprint, remember the new stainless steel utility that you buy? Whatever you touch, you get fingerprint on it. The Cybertruck is the big surface of fingerprint that you can find spot for it. Like, it's built for collecting fingerprint. Is the best I can describe it.
Hmm.
And my biggest safety concern is that piece of steel that is so strong they cannot roll it. It's right in your face, and wait for your front end collision.
Yep.
And see how your neck can handle that. So that's about Cybertruck. And it does. I look at the dimension also. It doesn't fit in my garage. It's too long. It's too longer than my Model S. Yeah.
It's even smaller than the original one that they demoed 4 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, they have a new dimension now or something. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, they shrunk it since they announced it.
Okay. Yeah, the original ones, they would definitely not fit into my garage.
Yeah.
Peter Norvig asked either ChatGPT or Gemini or one of them to make a song parody about the Cybertruck, and it was a really good song parody.
Yeah, I read that one. That was
Yeah, he
good.
posted it on Facebook. It was rather
Yeah.
rather cleverly composed.
For the modern looking, Star Wars looking cool, that get an A plus. No other truck like that. But everything else, yeah. But the wire, what do you call that? Drive by wire, the steer by wire is
Fly by wire.
drive by wire.
Drive by wire.
Steer by wire is not drive by wire. Steer by, because there's no connection. There's only wire between the steering wheel and the wheels.
Yeah, it's all signals.
It's all signal. So you would get your refund back on your 2 Cybertruck deposit?
I haven't even checked yet, but they're only $100 each. I should go check and see if I got them. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I do have a lot of 1.0 hardware with me.
Well, you got a museum going there. You're
Huh?
about you set up your own museum eventually.
Cyber Model S, Tesla Model S, the first 3,000 cars. Yeah. And then the first of the Google Glass. I got a lot of 1.0 hardware. Yeah.
I used to, but I lost it all in a storage unit in the divorce.
I see.
So I lost all my inside, computers, my Memento, Windows for pen computing computer, all of that stuff I lost.
Yeah. So go back to the mind map, the way you call it, or the what you call knowledge map or knowledge graph.
Knowledge graph.
What do you see how useful that is? I mean, it's a whole bunch of big data. It's like no different than the early stage of AI.
Okay, so his premise is if you ask GPT a question and it gives you a bunch of paragraphs, okay, you can't really see much. You can actually just understand the text. But he says, and I haven't yet played with it, but he says that if it gives you a map of these things and you play and say, okay, so this word is interesting, that notion is interesting, and then you say, okay, which are the interesting aspects of this visually, that it can then go another level deeper and say, okay, let me tell you how these connect, or explain to me how this leads to that, or give me a perspective on that and the other thing. So it's a way to refine your prompt so you get deeper into the material. That's his claim. Okay. And that it therefore also has a large language model behind it. So it can actually, fill in the gaps and try and be smart that way. If there are two distinct clusters of words, they're not really connected to each other.
Hmm.
I'm just getting into it. I haven't installed it yet. I have to pay the €9 a month, and then start playing with it.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll be interested looking at it because from my perspective, based on what you described is basically is doing what I'm doing with my own head, but I'm sure Barry the same thing also. We catch words and I call it like a puzzle. Think of it like a puzzle. I just put in the places for me so it fit. When it fit, say, okay, the picture showed up. If that doesn't fit, it's a random picture. It makes no sense to me at all.
Right.
And so this one will outsource that part of my brain function. I always believe that the difference between genius and non-genius is that your ability to be able to put together the puzzle,
See
Someone
connections.
see the pattern.
Ability to connect the dots.
Say again,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The ability to connect the dots.
Yeah, that's how you say it. I call it the ability to put your puzzle together so you can see a clear picture. So unless you have a clear picture, you cannot remember what the heck you're talking about. Random data does not remember well.
That's
If you take a word cloud, can you pick the words out of a word cloud and turn them into a coherent story?
Yep.
Converting word cloud into a story, I mean, that's a good challenge. You give you a set of words and you make a story using that set of words. That's
the difference between someone can remember 50 words, 50 letters in a string, or the actual 400 numbers of pi or something like that.
Yeah. You
They have
make a story that's
yeah. Yeah. Someone with good memory can take a string of characters or words and make a story out of it. Yeah. My first challenge was like periodic table.
Linak Rubsesafra, Bamgakas Rabera.
See, you can do that because you have trained for
One of my classmates basically pronounced the first and second column, and he practiced saying Linak Rubsesafra, Bamgakas Rabera, and that's pronouncing the first two columns.
Wow. So your ability to connect the dots give you the genius level entitlement, whatever you call
But I
that.
actually never used it because I never thought there was any point in memorizing the periodic table. And we only got to the first two columns anyway, and after that, I don't think we ever worked out how to pronounce them.
I even have trouble to remember which part of the state where is it on the map in the United States. So I have a map, a placemat on my desk I've been using for the last 30 years. I finally got a new version, so it's clean.
Most people can't draw a map of the US and put the states where they belong. That's really hard to do.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's important because I need to find the closest warehouses that I can ship it to cut down on carbon emission and the cheapest cost. So I use it 20 times a day, easy.
Although most children would have at some point had a jigsaw puzzle where the states were the shapes of the pieces and you assemble the map state by state. That's easy to do because they got to fit.
Yeah.
You only have to know roughly where they belong. But, memorization. I mean, Einstein was not a big fan of memorization. He says, if it can be written down and looking up, why bother to waste your brain power memorizing it?
To some extent, I don't do memorization at all. That's why I'm terrible in geography and history and math formula and all that stuff. Sucks at it. But I can construct the formula. For example, the surface area of a cylinder, pi r squared times h. I can construct it right from my head because I can see the formula being constructed.
Exactly.
And if I need the surface area of the top and the bottom of the cylinder, it's a pi r squared times
But
2.
I could never be an actor or recite poetry from memory. I was no good at memorizing material to recite. I could read it just fine, but not memorize it.
Yeah. Even though I've recited sutra 10,000 times on Buddhist sutra, only less than 100 words, I can't even memorize it. So I forget it. No way. I give up.
Sam is
point is
emulating
not just
Trump.
to-
He's got his eyes closed.
The point is not just to make the connections. The point is actually understand the deeper connection and the meaning behind the connection and how it's meaningful in the context of all the other connections.
Yeah,
That's how you tell the story.
The trigonometry identities, there's a fabulous diagram of the unit circle and the triangle, and you have all the elements of trigonometry in this one little diagram, and that's how I could remember the identities from that little diagram.
How many do you need to remember? All you need to remember is just one of them, right?
Well, no,
Sine
there's
squared plus cosine squared.
well, that's the most important one, but yeah, the
Right.
other ones too. And also the how you define each of the elements. So the famous unit circle diagram. If you
The
did,
reason you get I guess the connecting it right, whatever you're doing with that knowledge or the data point or whatever, is to help you so that you can predict your future outcome of a certain event more accurately. That's the way I think about it. Besides that, you have no other use at all. It's a total waste of
That's
time.
the utility of knowledge to you, right?
Yeah. I mean, unless you have a need for it, don't waste your time looking for it. It's like money, right? If you never need money, why waste time, making money?
See, that's very not the scientist's perspective, right? A scientist will look for truth and not necessarily actionability.
Well, truth. What the hell is truth? Tell me. What's the use of truth?
well, it's
Really?
to avoid
Really?
bearing false witness. You don't want to bear
Yeah.
false witness because that screws up the feedback loop.
Yeah. So that, again, the basic truth or whatever you want to call it, the truth is that the reason you need the truth is so that the next time you predict something that in your life, your life depend on it, you better get it right the first time. You don't have a second chance.
Yeah, don't escape
Okay,
Fox Canyon because you're going to get caught.
I'll buy that. That means that, truth is necessary to essentially counter those who are acting against truth. But this is back to an old theme again.
Yeah.
So my daughter always play with me a game. So what's a better comeback line, right?
Oh yeah. Comeback lines, you always think of your comeback line the next day. But they make for writing good anecdotes after the fact. You know, how you would have written the dialogue if you'd had enough time to think it through.
You gotta come back tomorrow.
Right.
Let me get back to you on that.
Come back tomorrow for my comeback line today.
Now we're back into Don Rickles territory.
Yeah. Well, and that's sort of the soul of wit is a lot of times a good comeback. There's a lot of funny, witty comebacks. George Bernard
thing
Shaw,
is,
among others.
if you have more practice on the subject, then your comeback line will become easier because you have the patterns, you have the practice on it. So that's always the case. So the truth is about the more truth you have is then the more predictable the comeback line or whatever that you are trying to do, your future need, your compelling, desired outcome.
The whole point of a comeback line is if you can make them laugh, you win.
Yeah.
Comeback that makes them laugh. That's the
I like the one that give you double, make you laugh and make you cry.
right.
Those are my ultimate comeback line.
Yeah. Just to give you an example, the other night I have a group of friends who do Bible study periodically. So the previous week, one of the women was recounting what it was like in Sunday school, and she says in Sunday school they learned the 10 Commandments, but she didn't know what adultery was, and so she asked the teacher. She says, "Do not commit adultery." I don't know tell me what it is because I want to make sure I don't do it by mistake. And the teacher says, "Don't worry about it. It's not going to happen." But she tells a story about not knowing what adultery meant. So then a week later, we do another Bible study, and there was a notion that somebody said if you take something that's wholesome and you put poison into it, does it ruin it? Like if you put poison into the wine at communion, can you still drink the juice and not be hurt? And it was a question, how do you resolve that? And I said, oh, that's one of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not commit adulteration. And that's exactly, you're shaking your head. That's exactly what the person next to me did.
I love it.
Duh.
That's a good one. Thanks.
But
Barry.
that sort of basically breaks the tension of, how do you answer this conundrum? Thou shalt not commit adulteration.
But I always have trouble with this is that, you try to teach this group of people that understand how the concept is. And when you make that comeback line, you just mess it up. You kind of get a detour, get sidetracked, you get,
It's easy. A lot of people who tell jokes, they mess up the punchline and the joke falls flat. It's easy to mess up the punchline.
Yeah. But it's more fun this way though.
I used to get a kick out of coming up with a comeback line that's a pun, that sort of unexpected pun, play on words, whatever.
So my daughter always share the good punchline line they have in the classmate or in the scenario that I was not in. Then she come back like, well, okay, I learned a few things from it.
Somebody posted the other day a blurb where Trump had compared himself to Elvis. He says, I'm as good looking as Elvis. And my comment to that was a line, an adjusted line lyric from a song. Mama said there'd be dudes like this. There'd be dudes like this. My mama said. That was based on a song. Mama said there'd be days like this, and so I put that in. Two people who remembered the song thought that was funny. Mama said there'd be dudes like this.
It's a great song. We can sing it right now.
Yeah, but you got to be of a certain age to remember the lyric.
There'd be days like this, my mama said.
That's the problem with the topical humor using literary references. If you don't know the literary reference, it falls flat.
Yeah. Joke is
That's how
all about
people,
culture.
yeah, and some people flex that way.
Cultural references are tricky. They tend to be of a certain age that will get them, and the rest of them.
Certain age, certain culture, certain geographical, certain language, certain background.
Yeah,
right.
All that.
Wordplay and puns, like cultural references, they're hit or miss.
Yeah. I missed a lot of them because I wasn't in the US till I was almost 6 years old. So a lot of stuff that people quote unquote learn, let's say about Mother Goose rhymes or things you learn as a 4-year-old.
Yeah. Or
I missed.
1960s era music, which was sort of the breakout of the rock and roll era, the early songs of the rock and roll era. A lot of people won't know those anymore.
Anything
got
else
20
interesting
more
happened this past week?
Say again?
Say again?
I was curious to see whether anything else interesting had happened in the last week.
Not really. I mean, you have the Trump trial, which is, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps on in this petty pace from day to day. That's, going very slow, but trying to find something, newsworthy every day.
My understanding is that one of the cases that was brought against Trump was actually decided yesterday, even before going to trial. So this is actually a pretty interesting move. Judge actually issued a decision saying that the filing that the prosecutors already made already closed the case. It was sufficient to make a decision just based on the filing.
I saw that Steve Bannon was hit up with a judgment, a summary judgment of close to $500,000, but it was just the headline that, summary judgment of something, probably defamation or something.
See, for me, spiritually, the flip side of all this Trump talk is the stuff that I learned about what JWST is finding out. That to me is almost diametrically opposite on almost every dimension. So I really enjoy finding out what JWST is learning.
A lot of it's speculation of things that are upending old theories, but you have to wait for confirmation because a lot of this is just speculation. But there's a glitch in the universe. I think that's just a hype.
I couldn't believe I saw that as a headline.
I didn't even bother to read it. I figured, Sabina Hossenfelder will debunk that next week.
Mm-hmm. But still, it's given us new observations to ponder, which I think is awesome.
Well, I mean, they're trying to resolve dark matter, dark energy. Was there such a thing as before the Big Bang? All that kind of stuff. You go, it's going to take decades to resolve all that stuff.
I might need more than decades, Barry.
Yeah. What happens at the singularity of a black hole? I mean, that's going to take forever to figure out a model that's any good. I figure it's just a phase change. I mean, if you take the ideal gas law and you compress it, then suddenly you get phase change to liquid to solid. And when stars collapse, you get neutron stars, and there's a phase change. And I figure there's going to be a phase change at the singularity, and we just don't know what the phase change is. The quarks are going to somehow end up with a phase change, some variety that they may or may not be able to work out in the big colliders.
Speaking of big colliders, the next one they're building is what, 27 kilometers?
Well, it's proposed. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
3 times or 10 times as big as the Large Hadron Collider.
Yeah. I was just
The new
wondering
stuff
myself.
on quantum, the smallest amount of gravity that you can measure. They've got a new way to make a new gravity measurement technology that can measure microgravity, because they want to find out if gravity is quantum.
What's your guess? My guess is yes.
Yeah, I think it is too, because if you get to the smallest particle, the amount of gravity, you get to the Fermi particle at the Fermi distance, the Fermi gravity is probably going to be, the quantum. You can't get any smaller or any closer. But so I think, yeah, there'll be quantum gravity. Although I don't think it'll be terribly important. Except possibly in the center of a black hole, where it might become important. That may be the one place where the smallest particle at the smallest distance, the Fermi mass at a Fermi distance, will be a Fermi graviton or something, and that'll break the singularity, a new phase, just like a neutron star, maybe a quark star or something like that.
I actually know someone that worked on PhD on gravitational for the quantum. They actually are working on it. It was in his lab. This is something like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago in Stanford. I went into his lab to see the particles, gravitational force on the quantum level.
Yeah. I haven't studied it, but yeah, there's a new idea of how to measure very small amounts of gravity. I mean, the torsion thing already was pretty amazing, and that's a century ago.
With big balls. I was amazed that you could actually just measure it with big balls.
Yeah, big balls and a torsion gravitometer of some sort that gave you an order of magnitude more precision in measuring gravity. But there's a very small audience. The average layperson could care less about that stuff.
So what is it? Prepare for the future so that we can use the facts or the truth, whatever you want to call that.
Well,
The truth comes before you can engineer around it. So if you don't care about producing the truth, then you can't engineer around it later.
Whether or not we can ever build any technology that uses that is probably, I won't say definitely, but probably unlikely that they'll come up with any good reduction to practice that creates a new technology.
Hi, Josh.
Oh, Josh just came on. There he is. And
Hello.
Kayla just went off. You just missed Kayla. You came on just as Kayla went off.
Oh no, I've been on for a while.
Have you? Okay, I didn't notice.
Not that long, but last 15 minutes or so.
I still couldn't get my, Josh, I still can't get past my enter your passcode yet.
You're stuck on. You said your AI pin is stuck. What is it?
Yeah, getting stuck. The text support say that we'll pass this your case to a senior support engineer. I don't remember exactly what passcode I used, so I entered it. I drained the power all the way down to so that I start from scratch and try again and try again and try again. I must have spent about 5 hours on the stupid thing. I still can't pass the passcode. Checking what it does is it will check passcode after I enter it, and it keeps staying there for hours.
The passcode to
It's like
that
your
they get.
iPhone, you have to enter your passcode so they open up for you, like a key.
Oh no, I get it. But don't they let you set the passcode?
Yeah, I set the passcode, but I don't remember exactly what I set it for, so I went back and changed the passcode or something like that. But I use my
okay.
usual passcode. I use my usual passcode. It doesn't take it. So like, anyway, somehow they have to. They're not too far from me. They're by an hour. I can drive there and have them fix it for me or something.
You go to the
Yeah.
Genius, they'll tell you how to fix it.
Yeah, go over to their house and tell them to make a better product or something.
Yeah, this is not going anywhere. I can see that. Yeah,
But Is it physically nice to wear?
Well, you really don't want to wear it in front of your heart, right? Because of the radiation to your heart. So you
Oh
want to
well, yeah.
wear it on my right hand side instead of left hand side. And then when I wear it, it's okay. I mean, but the interface is kind of a little bit weird. So it's like, okay, we'll see. I'm willing to play with it. I'm willing to see how capable it is, and it has some new feature that's supposed to be the health thing and this and that. So we'll see how it goes.
Mhm.
I'll give it about a year or two. We'll see how much it creates. I'm sure I'll play with it an hour or two in a week or something. But I can see the interface.
I'm sorry it sucks.
The interface sucks. I think that if you allow it to go interface it on a website and the interface, you need supplement. Yeah. The pure laser and the touch, no, it's not gonna cut it.
Too much.
Yeah.
I didn't want to derail the conversation. I just I knew it was
Yes.
ending, so I just popped on to say hi real quick. But
Okay. It's all good.
I think Sam and Barry are done, or are they taking bio breaks?
Yeah, they're taking bio breaks, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah, I came on yesterday, and I know that Barry said he was going to be gone, but then no one recorded it, but it was just me and Eric for an hour and 15 minutes.
It's okay.
Yeah. And I'm actually amazed at us kind of snow rain. I don't even know what happened last night. The temperature dropped to 30 degrees. So
Wow.
it snowed in the higher elevation, and it's just misting and raining here.
Mm.
We've got a little bit of snow. It's quite it's kind of special for this time of year.
Yeah. It's May already. We
Yeah.
spring.
It's like a spring snow. Everything's green and snow. It's so weird. So yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, my heater come on last night. It's like, what happened? It's like, okay, sweet, you know.
Yeah, did you guys get a lot of rain up there?
I can't hear you. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Say
I
one more
heard there
time.
was a storm. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, hear
Check
better.
one, check two. One, check two.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, I heard there was a atmospheric river north.
Hmm. It better be
I
because whatever it is, it's damn
think
cold and
San
it's raining
Francisco
lots of
area.
water. Yeah. So Barry, start walking outside already or no?
What was the question?
Are you start walking outside the
I
house?
started walking outside. Not really. It's getting close to being, good weather, but I haven't started walking outside yet.
I'm trying to keep up at least 45 minutes walking a day. So either outside, inside, or treadmill.
Well, I am on my feet and walking, indoors, but I haven't been walking outside yet.
Hmm.
Like today, what is it today? It's 53 degrees outside at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's still pretty chilly.
Hmm.
And it's going to be chilly, I think, for a few more days. I think it'll eventually warm up, maybe later in the week.
Yeah, next week is supposed to have some over 80 degree days. Yeah. Let's see what California does.
So, but I mean, here as I'm still, it was chilly enough this morning. I put my jacket
Yeah.
back on. It was actually
The
feeling
Monday
cold.
68, high, Tuesday 71, Wednesday 78, Thursday 81, Friday 82, Saturday 81, Sunday 76.
We're going to have
It's up
extreme weather, extreme cold and extreme warm, more than the previous extremes have been.
Extreme is this year.
Well, I mean, I saw the weather for Omaha was going to be extreme weather on Monday, but that was extreme stormy weather.
Yeah. hurricanes and flood and all
Yeah,
that.
floods and hurricanes and extreme heat. There's been stories of extreme heat, even in April in some parts of the country that don't, you know, 100 degree days in April
Yeah,
in some parts of the country. There's going to be some extreme weather.
yeah. India has what, over 100 degrees something. China also same thing. Everywhere.
And extreme storms that are washing out roads.
Hello.
Extremely
look at
cute
her.
dogs.
Got a puppy.
Yeah,
Cute.
my daughter's dog.
That dog does
That
have
doesn't
eyes
even look like
somewhere in that face.
that doesn't look like a real dog. It looks like a stuffed animal.
I couldn't. There weren't any eyes showing. So
Where's your eye?
where's your eyes? I don't see any eyes. I can tell where they belong, but
Yeah, that's a cute dog.
what's this? What's the species?
Poodle, I guess. I have no idea. I'm terrible at names.
Oh, you don't know what its species is.
It's a cuteness is the species.
Poodle.
Poodle. Yeah, maybe it's a poodle.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a poodle.
Does it bark a lot?
He loves to sit on my lap. Get warm. When I
Sam,
looking forward
Sam
to
Han wants to know, does he bark a lot?
no. But when somebody knock on the door, when somebody come close to the door, he bark. Yeah, that's it.
You said it's your daughter's dog?
Yeah, my daughter's dog. Yeah. Yeah, she got him about 7, 8 years ago when she was in Atlanta, Georgia. So now she's back here for the last 5, 6 years, something like that. Anyway, so we get to babysit him when she's out about.
Super.
But not interested to get a new dog on myself. No, it's too hard for when they leave.
It's difficult. I mean, when you're a child, it's nice to have a dog as a pet, but when you're an adult, especially if you live alone, then there's, it's if you have more than one person to take care of the dog, it's great. But if you live alone and it's your job every day to take care of the dog and walk it and deal with it when you travel and all that stuff, it's not so easy.
There, you're right near Boston Dynamics. Just get a dog you can turn off and turn on.
Electric dog.
Yeah. When you leave, you turn him off. When he's there, he's playing and having fun.
Yeah, actually, it's not Boston Dynamics. It's what's the robot company called?
I thought it was Boston.
They're literally walking distance for me. One of the companies, one of the robots.
Boston Robotic.
He's talking about the Roomba one, the iRobot company.
Yeah, iRobot is it's like 2 miles from where I live, 2.5 miles.
Yeah, get them to create a dog for you. They'll just sniff around the house and vacuum at the same time.
Yeah, oh, a Roomba, right? A dog, yeah, a dog to make a mess and a Roomba to clean it up.
Well, he eats it up with the dirt with his mouth, and then he poops it out into a vacuum bag.
Oh, there you go. Into the
How
garden.
about robotic dog? I remember about 20+ years ago, Sony made the first robotic dog, Aibo.
I remember that too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we had Ibos at the Science Museum. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Aibo, yeah. I have the version 1, I have the version 2. I paid for the version 1, someone gave me the version 2.
They were pretty cute, actually. They were kind of amazing.
But could you retrofit it to clean up? And I mean, it's the golden age of robotics right now. Make it do anything.
Well, we've had robot washing machines and dishwashers for years. Robot water heaters and robot air conditioners.
They weren't self-learning robot. Like they didn't learn how to rinse your clothes better. And
no, they just they had presets. You had to
right.
Preset. But
yeah,
the robot dishwasher was, that was a nice invention, the robot dishwasher.
I like these robot humans they're coming up with on the new version of journalism is programming these incredible robot humans.
Oh,
They just
Well-
parrot back everything. They're preset, is what I'm trying to say, Barry. I was trying to make a joke that they're preset humans. You just turn the dial.
well, I mean, they had robot sports reporters that report the the box scores from the ball game and make up the story because there were so it's so classical standardized they could just generate a random story for a baseball game that nobody really attended.
Mm.
Just read the box score and make up the story.
You may not hear about this. It's like the biggest invention of humankind that changed the human species. You know what it is?
What epoch are we talking about?
About so whatever. So think of it like cars, washing machine, refrigerators.
Steam engine.
Yeah, steam engine, whatever it is. Which one give you the most impact in the world?
I would
Clean
say-
water.
I
What
was
is-
shocked to hear this. Yes, this is what they say. Okay, the laundry machine, because it allowed the woman to go out of the house to work.
Yeah. Well, didn't I say washing machine in was the first thing I mentioned?
Yeah,
The dryer and the dishwasher were there's the three robots in this house, the washing machine and the dishwasher.
yeah. The laundry machine is. I remember in the old days, like my mom would spend. She would spend all day doing laundry because we got 8 kids in the family.
Yep. Yep. I remember getting the Whirlpool washer dryer way back when I was a kid. That was a big deal.
Yeah, change the
Got rid of
whole.
the Maytag wringer and got a washer dryer. And then of course you have your refrigerator, freezer, your stove,
Yeah.
all those are robots. Your alarm clock, it's a robot.
Yeah,
Have you washed your clothes on the rocks before, Barry?
I don't know if we ever did that when we went camping. I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure I never washed my clothes when I went camping.
Didn't go long enough.
Well, yeah, you
You
really
were
have to go for
camping.
a month. You have to go for a month before you.
Yeah.
Typically, when you go camping, you're not gone. If you're lucky, you might be 2 weeks out in the boonies, but you can go for 2 weeks without having to do your laundry. So,
Yeah. Yeah, mixing the soap and the water in a bucket. It's oh man, forget about it. And
never
then
did.
rubbing them, mixing them, rubbing them, mixing them. Yeah, it's just getting that soap off. That's why a river is good because of running water.
You had to watch out for what was that disease that you had to be careful of in the stream water? There was a disease that hikers had to worry about. Can't remember the name of it.
Probably Giardia.
Yeah, yeah. Giardia or Giardia?
Something like
Giardia.
that.
I think it's Giardia.
Yeah.
You had to put pills in your water, or boil it or something.
Yep. Yeah, we got a good life. I love the washing machine. That's my favorite thing in the house.
Yeah, well, I
you
mean,
just remember to separate the color and no color, right?
I don't even
Oh
bother.
no,
to
I
do that. I don't
yeah,
even
I don't
bother.
do that. I shove them all in.
The
They don't
colors
look
are
very
so
good.
fast. Everything is color fast anyway, so.
Show you how you can use the combination.
But yeah,
I
I
couldn't
mean,
hear Sam. What did he say?
I didn't hear.
Referring to this video whose link I'm about to post in the chat again, because I'm going to do some experimentation with it and bring back some observations for next week.
YouTube video. Oh,
Hello, everyone.
record.
In the video, I'm going to show you how you can use a combination of ChatGPT AI and
AI knowledge graph. That's all.
Oh, that's the one that you posted
Yeah.
on Facebook before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's already posted.
Yeah, I think I watched this when it came out. It's moving so fast. 3 months ago feels like a year.
Well, the large language models, that was a big deal that went pretty fast in 2 or 3 years, I guess.
I'm saying the first large language model that they let the public access was about 2 years ago. Well,
Yeah.
November this year, it'll be 2 years.
Yeah. That's
the-
pretty
the one-
fast technology. That's totally innovative.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I was just listening to before I logged on the call, Stephen Wolfram's latest thinkings of how he's going to iterate on his mathematical spaces, and just the different spaces themselves have different parameters. And that's the way I look at large language models, is each model has a different parameters. It does different things. So it's to say one is better than the other, I don't think is,
They're just different.
everyone's looking for AGI. It's just different. Yeah.
It's like disciplines. People specialize in disciplines because nobody's a generalist who can do everything well. You have to specialize.
So specialize and discipline to me means attention. You need to narrow your attention. Don't you have your attention is too big, you're out of control. So I try to hold something too bigger than you can handle.
Yeah. You can have a lot of breadth, but it's shallow, or you can have a lot of depth, but it's narrow.
Yeah. The way I think about
Like
it is always like magnifying glass under the sun. You want to get some fire, you better focus.
Yeah, I just saw a cool video showing how you can look at bacteria in water with a little laser pointer and a syringe,
Mm,
and just point it at the little drop at the bottom, get it to where it's just about to fall out of the syringe, but it doesn't fall.
mm.
And then shine the light at it against the wall, and you'll see in the shadow the
Wow.
little microorganisms.
Oh, really? You can use the droplet as a lens.
Magnifying effect.
As a lens. Yeah.
That's
And
interesting.
you just gotta go closer and farther away, it'll start to come into focus.
And the same thing happens when you put the bottled water in your car and the light shine through and the focus on the water will burn your
Oh
car.
yeah?
Yeah. You know about that?
No.
Bottled water in the car, water, you know what happened? It's
What
a
happened?
magnifying glass.
I didn't know.
Mm.
Well, I guess it would be, yeah.
Same
If it's
thing.
shining at just the right angle,
Yep.
it'll
You
heat up.
got it.
Yeah, my sister's house, the neighbors have this one window, and at the right time of day, it hits the walkway from her house and it burns you. Like it's a magnifying glass. And it will literally, like, I'll stand there and I'm getting burned, like really burned. Like it's not, like it's quite the magnifying glass. The reflection off this, I think it's two windows, and it's hitting one and then hitting the other and then bouncing. And
Only
I was
certain
like,
time of the year,
ow.
though. Only certain time of the year, not the whole year long.
Exactly. And the right time of day at that time of year. And it's
That's right.
really dangerous. It could
Yeah.
start a fire.
That's right. All right, I'm gonna go. See you
Yeah,
guys.
it's 10 after the second hour, so
Thank you.
we're kind of, Kayla's gone and Sam's turned off his camera and we're all,
Have a good one. Get some more
Take
else.
care, Sam.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
I think he's got too much cuteness in that dog.
Yeah.
Well, Barry, I'm gonna be cutting trees for the rest of my life. All the trees that burned down in my property, they're slowly falling down in the wind. And if we don't cut them down, they'll fall on people.
well, there
they're
you go.
burnt
Get yourself
out.
get yourself a really good durable chainsaw.
I just did this week. Yep, it's time to just cut down. It's springtime. It's time to cut down these trees.
And then the technique for determining the direction that they fall so that it's safe and falls where you want it to.
Yeah, my trick is I throw a rope up in the tree,
Mhm.
and then tie it to a vehicle or a person and tell them to pull.
I see. As long as it doesn't fall on the vehicle.
Well, it's got to be a long rope. You need
Very
a
long. Exactly.
Yeah.
Longer than height of the tree.
Yeah, I used to enjoy doing a Tai Chi with the rope itself. When you tie it, you've got that slack a little bit,
Yeah.
and you can use your hips and do some Tai Chi moves, and it starts
There
to
you-
pull, and then pull, and you're rocking, and then you pull it
Yeah.
down and run.
Yeah, there you go. But just don't let it fall on you or the truck or
Yeah, you
something
got to
else.
run. As soon as you hear it cracking, you run.
Run sideways.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, sir. Enjoy your days as a lumberjack.
All right. Did you
He's a
guys work on the
lumberjack and
Knicks?
he's okay.
Yeah, I'll
that
enjoy
song?
it. Oh yeah. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I work all night and I sleep all day. Love to dress up in women's clothing, just like my dear papa.
I don't remember that last line, but I knew it had a weird ending though.
It's Monty Python.
Yeah, Monty Python. Well, all right.
But yeah, be well. You guys got the Nick stuff solved and the old language model solved. The old the old programming language.
Oh, that's Sam's working on that, not me.
Okay. Cool. I
Yeah.
think Eric's excited about it because he was on yesterday.
Yes, yeah, Eric and Sam are working on it. It's way over my head.
Yeah, I'm just working on trees. That's the only thing over my head. All right. Take care,
Right.
you guys.
Trees be
Cheers.
in.
Cheers.
Trees be in. Bye-bye.